Today I'm going to read you a very deep and personal piece I wrote called Healing the Mother Wound. Healing the Mother Wound, that is the mama of all wounds to heal, for sure. I had a mother wound that was gaping, cavernous, and it was really getting in the way of my life as I grew older into the woman that I wanted to become. It was in my way. It was all pervasive. And inside me, I carried an overwhelming undercurrent of grief and despair. And I felt like I was stuck and couldn't move forward. So I took it upon myself to go on decades of journeying into this wound, diving in, delving in, excavating this wound so that I could heal and I could thrive and I could grow. And that's just what I did. And it was kind of against all odds, but I stayed with it. And it was do or die for me. That mother wound was haunting, and it was keeping me from my birthright, which is to be a vibrant, healthy, beautiful human being in the world. And so I was on a mission, and I do feel that I accomplished that mission through years and years of really deep work that I resisted and dove into and resisted and dove into, and I just kept at it, determined, absolutely determined. This piece was originally published in an online magazine that goes international called Rebel Society, and after this piece went live, to my incredible surprise, it went crazy viral. It reached far and wide, and I got streams of letters flooding my inbox thanking me for the courage and the rawness and the honesty and the vulnerability to not only write this piece, but to share it so publicly and to expose myself in that way. And in doing so, it actually propelled a lot of people into their own healing, and it gave people courage to at least look into their mother wound or their father wound, which this easily translates into, and to begin that journey of healing so they can thrive in the world and be who they are meant to be. So I'm going to read this piece for you now, and it's probably the most cathartic piece I've written up until this point. It's not very long, but it's deep. So thanks for being here and for taking the time to listen. Healing the mother wound. Deep inside a wound seeps the inner child's longing to heal, to be loved, seen, and cherished. Some of us grew up wrapped in the safe haven of a mother's protection. Some of us needed protection from the very woman who grew us inside her womb. I was one of those. Fed on the breast of rage and fear and manipulation that bred a faded wallow of despair I could not shake. I was ripped to shreds by a wound that didn't belong to me. Inevitably, that wound became my own. I carried it inside a cradle of hollow, a slow drip filling with a grief that promised to swallow me whole. I couldn't breathe. I hated my mother. She was a flaming beast of anger who twisted me into knots. If someone told me I looked like her, I cringed. I wanted to strangle the life out of every one of my mannerisms that echoed her and deny that her cells were my cells. Her legacy of torment ran through my veins. My inner child was encaged inside the woman that I was becoming. I used every tool available to me: therapy, meditation, visualization, denial, rebirthing, hypnotherapy. I wrote my anger onto 1,000 pages with my left hand. With my right hand, I wrote until my hands cramped into a fist and the pages ripped. I wrote until my words went up in flames. I had to break this chain. My mother's only way out was to take her life. A barrel in the mouth by her own hand offered her the release from the grips of her demons. And there I was, left with mine, every breath a gulp and gasp for air. They were my demons now, swimming in the bloodstream of my belonging. I had to find my way home. One day I asked my grandmother to send me photos of my mother when she was young. I knew that if I could just access her innocence, I'd be able to forgive her, or at least step on the path of forgiving her. We all start out innocent until something comes along and twists our souls into torment like it did with my mother. Her only way out was to take her life. My only way out was to go in and to become the woman that my mother was meant to be had she been strong enough and sane enough to be it. I have come a long way to be able to write what you are about to read, and in this case, here, to cellularly feel and breathe these words as deep as any truth of mine can be. After years of excavating the darkest caverns of my broken heart, I reached into hers and found my way home, healing the both of us through her eyes inside a photograph. Mending Mother. I found a photograph at the bottom of an unopened box, crackling cardboard dried out from being rained on. I reached in, sifting through old letters, scrawls of random thoughts, poems that turned into a 1,000-page book. I poured it out onto the open floor, let the air in, let the stream of yellow light spill in and wrap around each keepsake. At the bottom, under the fold and crease where the box holds itself together, was a picture. At first, I thought it was me, but it was you, as a young, budding woman in a black and white capture of your innocence. How hopeful your eyes gleamed, how deep the longing for what's ahead. I held the photo in my hand, sat under the window and let the light magnify your face. I saw myself, the face of the womb in which I grew before I was even a thought in your world. So long before an injection of insane came in and corrupted your radiant youth and the palpable wisdom held in the cup of your hand. So young and ivory-skinned, plump in cheeks and heart, and even though the picture was black and white, I saw the rosy tint of freshness on your face, your rich, light almond eyes. I could see right through. You were lovely. To the core of my holding, soft before the world you inhaled made you bitter to a pucker. Your hands mirrored mine. The shape of your brow, the shine of your lips long before they dried out from all the salted cries you swallowed. You were beautiful. I looked deeper in, aching to abyss to understand. And I understood that somewhere along the paved line of your life, your heart caved and shattered into too many pieces to put back together. And you had to pretend to be unbroken. Pretend to love the man you married and bore 3 daughters with, that you pretended you knew what to do with. And all you could do was raise them inside the shattered chamber you held together for the sake of their survival, praying they'd thrive in spite of you. And I did. I can speak for myself and say I did. And I took what was good in you, sane and whole in you, and I found my way with what you did give me. Life, courage, fire, and eyes so deep they blink off the stillness of a photograph and shed a tear so fertile it grows life, mends and heals and breathes life into my whole life, within and without you, my life in honor of you.